that have been kept by many of these ancient mystic orders. And I, for one, like Madame Blavatsky, I didn't go to Russia or China, but I've pretty much been everywhere else except Bosnia to see the pyramids there, that we worked with Dr. Samir Asmanagich on his tours there with Marta Thomas of Chicago when we helped usher in the first global pyramid conference. Now, that was her design and her event, but that was when we started talking around the world to all the highest level of intelligences in the pyramidology and speaking about connecting the grid back. Now, this is a grid that one can't see, but the Akashic field among all of us mystics, oracles, psychics, sages, seers, shaman, every other name, counselor, acting, metaphysician, goddess, god, deity, lower deities, talk about together. And we acknowledge it like it exists. And Urban Laszlo wrote a great book. I can't quote the name of it right now. Something, the theory or the God theory or theory of everything by Urban Laszlo, which you can get on Inner Traditions, which I hope Richard and I can start promoting some of our books through that channel because it's the most common now. And Simon & Schuster is the largest distributor next to Amazon and Barnes & Nobles, but Simon & Schuster does the books for that. But a lot of you may want to read what we're going to be putting forth in the future for our children on the planet that will, in the future, be reading our scribe scriptures and those things that became real and evident for those that can see, smell, taste, touch, and involve space among others in this about past lives. So I'm going to ask Pastor Richard, or Pastor Rick. I haven't decided which one feels comfortable rolling off mic, but being that he is an immortal being and knows that, that is the wisdom in knowing. How can you know that? Well, let's let him tell you. Pastor Rick, okay. Would you like to discuss some past lives and how you know you're immortal with reincarnation in this reality? Just to help people understand, we may seem different, but we're not really, among many, many people that talk just like us about extraterrestrials, but also that they have memories of past lives, and some being, maybe some lives had trials, logical and illogical, but we became masters of the universe by maybe being Masons or Templars, Knight Templars, if you know where I'm going with this. So any of those things that you could enlighten people in this conversation today? And I'll mute.
Well, the last memory that I've had was the last life before this one. And I was a captain in the Civil War. I was with the rebels or the Southern armies in the Confederacy in comparison to the Union, which was the Bluecoats. And basically, I was leading a small regiment of men in Virginia, and we were scouting to see if, in fact, there were supply trains going through to supply the Union Army that was in the process of beginning to invade Virginia. And I was sent, like I said, with a small regiment, maybe 20 or 30 men, and we were scouting, and we went around a sort of small mountain anyway, and we came into a valley. And I sent scouts around to see if, in fact, there were any infantrymen of the opposing forces hiding in the forest and so forth. And they came back with information stipulating that there were, but they were a good few miles away. So we in turn moved forward as a regiment out from under the cover of woods into this valley. And unfortunately, when we did, we were ambushed. And so all of my regiment were shot, and I myself, when I turned to help a fallen man, since I was a doctor, and that's how I became a captain in the Confederacy anyway, I turn to lean over to help a fallen regiment, a fallen member of my regiment, and in so doing, as I turned my back, I was shot in the back 3 times and instantly killed. And I have direct memory of this, and ironically, this back pain has been with me basically all of my life. And, of course, it was restipulated because I happened to get into an accident where I actually hydroplaned 3 times, and fortunately I neither hit any oncoming vehicles from the other side of the road or those that were coming behind me. And the car went down an embankment, and the only thing that stopped it, even though it was pointed upwards towards the road, was a telephone pole. So I believe this jostled and may have allowed in perhaps what you would call karmic energy, or just the energy of these wounds that needed to be healed from the last time that I died. Now, this again is a scenario of belief that people claim that, when you die, sometimes in a tragic death, that sometimes the pains of that tragedy in turn are transferred over to you, because naturally they're kept as a memory and kept as an experience in your spirit. And therefore, when you reincarnate, those kinds of pains and so forth have to be healed, not only on a spiritual level, but also on a physical and emotional level. And so you go back in your history, in your memories. Now, of course, besides that, I've been here, at least to my knowledge, probably hundreds of times. I have many memories of being different persons in different countries. I was a Knights Templar at one point in time, and I know that I was traveling between France and Germany, and then in turn from Germany eventually to Turkey, and then in turn towards the Americas. Now, I don't know precisely exactly at what age I died or my exact identity. I've only had what you would call memory flashes. In other words, it's like you say, okay, I want to open my Akashic records or my life history on the planet, and you are shown in flashes like a movie that you lived as this person in this place, and you had these kinds of experiences. And then it moves on from there. And I mean, I've been a soldier, and I've been a knight, and I've been a warrior, and a samurai, and just all kinds of different things in all kinds of different cultures in all kinds of different areas of the world, in all kinds of different countries around the world. And it is not illusory, okay? These are memories that are very intense and very intact. In other words, it's like you're watching a movie, but the movie that you're watching is actually a movie of yourself. So you're the actual participant that you're seeing in the movie that is, undertaking all these different experiences and so forth. And these memories become stored, I guess you could say, in your overmind, because it's not in your regular consciousness. You have to kind of reach up and say, okay, I want to open the door to all of my past lives, and there they are. Now, of course, there are many people that are gifted guides that will actually put you in somewhat of a trance or take you through a meditative state that in turn will allow you to enter into your Akashic records on the other side. Now, when I say the other side, of course, I'm talking about transiting between the earth plane to the spirit world, because it's the spirit world is where the chamber of wisdom is at. And this chamber of wisdom, basically the Hall of Records, holds all of the Akashic records for the entirety of our entire race as given individuals. And you can tour this Hall of Records, and you could actually sit down and watch all of your past lives to some extent. Now, I mean, there's knowledge that we need at times here as we journey upon the path that we are living in, and then there's other knowledge that we don't necessarily need, but we have all of this wisdom and all of this garnered experience from all the various lives that we've had. And it's not really it's the wisdom and experience, or the knowledge and experience, that is more crucial than it is actually going forth and identifying exactly who you were and exactly when it was and exactly what part of civilization you were in and what culture and tradition and all that kind of thing. Because naturally, a lot of people think, well, I was royalty. And a great many have been royalty, in various cultures, whether it be the UK or whether it be Spain or, any of numerous countries around the world. And, I do believe, of course, wholeheartedly in reincarnation. And I do believe that we have access to all of those various lives and experiences if we so choose to garner that access. Okay, again, you see, you're only inquiring about yourself. And when you inquire about yourself, the door opens, because as the old saying goes, ask and it is given, ask and it is shown. And I have memories and flashes of memories, not only here on the planet, but also on other planets. Now, I know that's probably going to sound even more far-fetched. But again, you see, we are one spirit entity that in turn has had many lives in many planets, in many galaxies, and even in many universes. Okay? And who knows how old a given person is? The person themselves can't even tell you for sure. But when we go to the other side, we then become aware of exactly who we are and where all we have been and where we come from. And of course, many people now are identifying as star seeds and light workers and so forth that are here as emissaries and parts of teams that are working for various planetary civilizations, such as the Pleiades, and of course you have Lyrans and you have Andromedans and you have a whole bunch of different galaxies and a whole bunch of different planetary systems, wherein they in turn are here as members of the Galactic Federation to help mankind to transit into ascension. And the ascension process is an inward process. Now, no one says that it's easy, okay? But it is an inward process in which one basically becomes expanded in their awareness and raising in their vibration. And therefore, their frequency raises. And as your frequency and vibration raise, then you become more and more aware of a whole more information than what you would normally have otherwise just accepted the reality that in which we work and we visit others and we interact with others on a day-to-day basis. So that's my take basically on reincarnation. Yes, I do know for a fact that I've been here for a very long time and with many lives in many different places. And in addition to that, this is not the only place that I have been, nor may I also be. Because you see, as a spiritual entity, your spirit is not limited to any one given life in one given location. Now, I'm not saying that people are running around and they have 3 or 4 bodies here on Earth that are all each experiencing different cultures and civilizations all at the same time. I would not go as far as to say that it is not possible, but I do not believe that that would be completely to our advantage. Rather, I would go as far as to say it is very easy to understand that we could easily have a life and another body or persona on another planet at the same time that we have one here presently. So that's a very, very expanded outlook on things, I'm sure. And of course, that's only my humble opinion, and you're welcome to take it or leave it. That's up to you. I mean, after all, I am the one that has the knowledge and the wisdom that has been gained from all of these experiences, and it is this that I can share, and this that I can put into books and so on and so forth. Back to you, Teresa.
Very good. Yes, folks. We all have lives that we've lived in the past, whether here on this planet or others. It is now a common way to talk, at least in our cyberspace culture, on the internet highway with various groups that we have all helped in social media. And among all those groups that I helped personally back in the day with many, many people when the intelligence community was so connected to us getting off the planet, and I lived through the memories of, like I said, as a child, when I saw angels that having hepatitis A, infectious hepatitis, but no one ever